My dear parishioners, warm wishes to all of you. As we are all aware, we are right now in the process of a parish consultation for the Synod, and 5 themes were sent out to you, and each theme has a little explanation by way of a question. And some of you asking, Father, we are not able to understand what exactly we should be doing or what answers to be given to these questions. So I just thought I'd try to clarify what these questions mean. So the first theme is the journeying companions, and the question there is, in your local church, who are the ones journeying together and who are those left on the margins? So it's a very simple thing. When we're speaking of journeying together, we are asking, are we as a community journeying together in our faith? Are we journeying together in our care for each other? Or are we a fragmented community, people going in their own different directions? So are we journeying together in the mission of the church? So that's what it means. So who are those who are journeying together? And the second part of that question is, who are those who are left on the margins? That means, who are those, in your experience, who really do not participate in the life of the church? Whether it's in worship, whether it's in fellowship, whether it's in sacraments, whether it is in joining hands with the mission of the church. Okay, so that's the first question. The second theme is listening. The question there is, how are the laity, especially young people and women, listened to? So basically it is questioning us whether all that is being said, is it a one-directional instruction given to the laity in the church, or are we as pastors also sensitive to what the laity are saying? Are we listening to what you are saying? Are there things that you would like to tell us? And so therefore, laity in general, and specifically whether we give youth a chance to voice their opinions and their thoughts on what this church is, what is their role in the church, and same way for women to express their ideas, okay, on how they understand the reality of the church. The second question there is, how do we listen to the social and cultural context in which we live? So therefore, when you look at the social context, are we sensitive to what is happening around us? There may be a lot of maybe trends, there might be different ways of thinking that are kind of promoted, whether it is in the political sphere, whether it is in the cultural sphere, whether it is fashion, whether they are, are these things kind of in keeping with ethics, with justice, with the principles of peace, with the principles of not oppressing people? So if we look at the society around us, what are the trends that we observe? And if you look at society, maybe you could say the trends of maybe the rich getting richer, the poor getting poorer, the unemployed not finding a way, or maybe people in our community not finding their ground. What do you see about maybe the future of the children? Are our youngsters getting educated in school and afterwards not having any direction as to what they should be taking up in the future? So there are a lot of things. I mean, you've got to just put your mind and say, how do I assess the social reality? How do I assess the cultural reality? And so therefore, am I indifferent to it? Am I in some way giving direction to it? Am I concerned about social issues? Or for example, when we have maybe issues that affect us as a minority community, whether our minority rights are being infringed upon, and so therefore, are we vocal about it? Or anyone else from my minority community, are we supportive of their issues too? So those are what we mean by listening to the social and the cultural context. The third theme is speaking out. So here the question is, how do we promote a free and authentic style of communication within the community? So therefore, if you have to say something, do you feel free and frank to share what you feel about certain issues, whatever they be, okay? And so is that promoted, or is it that, for example, sometimes we say that the voice of dissent in our country is not appreciated by the ruling party. So if you express your dissent, if you express an opinion different from what the majority says, you are kind of targeted. So do we feel that we have a free and flowing, openness to listen to each other, to listen to ideas? In relation to the society of which we are a part, when and how do we manage to say what is important to us? So this is once again the larger context of society. Are there matters that are important to us which we want to bring to the notice of the authorities? Whether it is, for example, claiming the entitlements that the government can give us for jobs, the loans or the schemes for housing, for education, and do we feel that we are able to access those things? Once again, what I spoke of by way of infringement of our minority rights, or maybe if we see not just about our own community or minorities, but in general, human community as such, if we see things that are not, not really good in society around, do we in some way or the other bring up those issues? How does the relationship with the media, not only Catholic media, work? So therefore, this would mean when you speak of Catholic media, it could be maybe we have a media team and we are promoting our thoughts on different levels. But beyond that, when it comes to mainstream media, when it comes to newspapers, do we have a Christian voice? Or are we kind of media shy? Are we able to hold maybe press conferences? Are we able to give a good face to the good works that are being done? Are we able to communicate to people that the mission of Jesus, the mission of the church is something very enhancing the dignity of human people, uplifting the poor, and it's for the good of society. So when we have this negative publicity, or when people quote controversy, or they are making things very sizzling so that the church is defamed or maligned, do we have a voice in the media to give the true picture from what the perspective is? And the next question there is, who speaks on behalf of the Christian community and how are they chosen? So do we have spokespersons, for example? Do we have a diocesan spokesperson that represents the thoughts of the Christian community on media? And if so, how are they chosen? Okay, so that's basically the explanation of what it means to be speaking out. The fourth theme is celebrating. And the question here is, how do prayer and liturgical celebrations inspire and direct our journeying together? And the second question there is, how do we promote the active participation of all the faithful in the liturgy? So therefore, when we speak of liturgy, prayers and sacraments, do they in some way give us direction for our life? Does it affect us in a way that we are more accommodating of each other, that we are more caring for each other, that we know each other personally, as not just in a group, but that I know this family, or you know each other as families. Do all of us know the 457 families in the parish? So therefore, does that prayer and liturgy help us to that fellowship that we share at the Holy Eucharist or at the adoration, or whatever the church is organizing? Are we all in it together, or is it compartmentalized? You just come for the prayer and then there's nothing else. You come to church, you go for mass, and you carry on life in your own compartments. Your liturgy, your prayers do not affect your decisions. The way you operate in your family, the way you operate in your workplace, the way you operate in your relationships. So does that prayer have an effect in your lives? So that's basically what it's trying to ask us there. How do we celebrate our prayer moments so as to impact our lives on a personal level? And the fifth question is pretty simple. The theme is co-responsible in mission. How can we be involved in social and political commitment, in scientific research and teaching, in the promotion of social justice, in the protection of human rights, in caring for the common home, that's ecology, etc., as an expression of co-responsibility in mission? So when we speak of the mission of the church, these are kind of different themes. There are so many things that we speak of when we speak of mission, but what is highlighted there are those particular themes. So in what way am I becoming part of that mission, in social commitment, in politics, in advocacy, in preserving nature, in the protection of human rights, etc.? So I hope these explanations will have clarified these questions for us. So just spend a little time in your family looking at these questions from this little explanation and just put your thoughts down. We just want to listen to you. Okay, there's no debate, there's no discussion. You may understand the question differently also. It doesn't matter. Okay, in whatever way you understood it, you give your response to that. Okay, and then when we have our team putting the things together, we will siphon out to see what would be the collective response of all the families in a particular area, then in the zone, and then putting everything together as a parish response. Okay, so if there's any further question you have, you can always message it on your area group and I'll try to respond to that. Okay, so we've already supposed to have finished the first phase of the family responses, but many area leaders said that very few have responded because some wanted certain clarifications. So I hope maybe by today or tomorrow you could send your family responses to your area leaders, because by the end of this week, by Saturday, we will need to collate all the responses that have come from the areas. Thank you so much and God bless you.